Good morning, everybody. It is, what did I say? I don't forgot what today is. It is Thursday? Friday. It's Friday. Friday, November 3rd, 2023. My watch says that it is 10 till 12, but it's an hour off. Okay, so let's see. My phone says it is 12:52. Okay, so it's 10 till 1. That's what my watch should say. 10 till 1. Okay, so what I've got for you for this video is part 4. A, a self-guided program to stop feeling like shit. How to heal yourself from depression when no one else can. Amy B. Shore. Chapter 1. I was no stranger to depression, having grown up with a dad who, for most of my life, struggled immensely with depression. None of the various diagnoses assigned to his depressive episodes had been cured by the treatments prescribed. His struggle was heartbreaking, with erratic highs and lows pulling our entire family along with him. And yet, during my own experience with debilitating physical illness, I had never considered myself depressed. I had certainly felt depressed at times in my life before, during my teen years, as many of us do, and especially during my experience with debilitating illness. But it all felt circumstantial, easily explained by what I'd been going through. Now, though, when I had so much to be thankful for, I felt able to enjoy so little of it. By the time this wave of heaviness hit, I had already been helping clients heal for years from fatigue, depression, anxiety, illness, and more, with great success. Yet here I was in the same position as my dad once was, and as so many of my clients had described, having it all, not knowing what not knowing what was that wrong, and feeling like shit. After my dad had passed away, and with all of his wise advice gone with him, I turned to his childhood friend, Barry. Barry is the man I extract pieces of my dad from. A sliver of a memory, a funny story, and sometimes clues to what had gone wrong with him. Barry helped me piece together the father who helped me understand myself. Barry, dad suffer with did dad suffer with depression when he was young? I asked. I do think your dad was depressed, but we didn't talk about depression in those days, he explained. What if they had talked? I wondered. It was only once I began talking to other people around me that I discovered so many others were having a hard time too. Even with no good reason, some of them described feeling sad, bruised, apathetic, unsure, and lost. It was then that I came to a true understanding about the spectrum that we so casually refer to as depression. Depression is a spectrum that can range from low grade, mild, to severe. It can be everything and anything and nothing of what it seems. Seeing depression in this new light, I scanned back over my life to realize that this may actually not be a new or simply circumstantial feeling for me after all. What I realized next about how and why I and those around me were struggling became undeniable, irrefutable. We had lost the tether to our own core, becoming disconnected from ourselves and our lives, who we really are. Depression is the literal depression of self. It happens while you are busy not meeting your own needs and even unconsciously are grieving for them. Depression is often born from the deep conviction that I don't matter. Maybe it's because you have been living for others, for your old traumas, or for that epic career you have tried so hard for. Maybe you can't live for you because you are buried under the stuff of your life. For me, it became clear that my lifelong pattern of being overly sensitive to the needs and wants of others had seriously caught up to me. Your dad was like that too, Barry said. What if they'd talked? I wondered again. But even more importantly, what if we all talked? Because it's not too late for us. The problem is that all the doing good we do for ourselves, the yoga, the meditation, the self-care, and maybe even the medication, might not be enough on its own. There's no amount of doing that will excuse us from the requirement of the deepest, toughest, and truest self-care we seek. Being attentive to our own lives and needs. Depression is a side effect of being buried under our lives and because of that, off from ourselves. It is the wave that comes either by ripple or crash. When we ignore our own needs for too long, often because it's too painful and in favor of the demands and expectations we've created for ourselves. Sometimes, even when nothing terrible is happening, life comes just too fast and furiously to catch up to. Maybe you don't know who you are anymore, and maybe you never did. But depression is the call to let yourself rise. If we want to close the gap of empty space within ourselves, something has to give. While it may be impossible to live a life 100% dedicated to what we desire, there is something more we can be doing. In addition to eliminating the noise, the trauma, the fears, and the old patterns that blocks us from getting as close as possible to our desires, we must make an unwavering commitment to our own lives. It was this combination that helped me circle back to myself, with so many of my clients and students following right behind. The work of becoming our truest selves allows us to reach that kind of real deal happiness that's not only attainable, but sustainable. The medicine is not in finding the cure. It's the attention to why you need medicine in the first place. It is in learning how to stay in touch with ourselves and how, when we lose touch, to re-navigate, reposition, re-angle, and reconnect. That is what our lives and this book are about. Despite all the work I had done to heal myself at the core, I was not immune to depression. I'm still not. None of us are. Depression happens because sometimes we need to be reminded that our lives require us to stay tuned in to the very purpose of them. Joy. Okay, so that is all I've got for you for this video. If you like this content, like this video, or comment below, I would like to know your thoughts on this or anything that you would like to add. Now, don't forget to go out there and rainbow it. Flood the world with love, peace, joy, and charity. Thank you, and have a good day or night, depending on what time you're watching this.